I'm Freddie MacDonald. I created this film because I really wanted to help kids. I found their stories to be so amazing, and I think you will too.
This presentation is dedicated to the beauty and strength of the human spirit in every one of us.
Can you sense the excitement? I'm Mira Cull with Entertainment Nightly. We're here in LA at the infamous Grauman's Chinese Theater. The crowd's gathered, anxiously awaiting the premiere of Everyone's a Winner. The much-anticipated movie, inspired by Dr. Svetlana Masgutova and Pamela Curley's book. It's a riveting real-life tale of their team's life-changing work. They've worked with more than 30,000 people from more than 28 countries all over the world. Together, they've created the ability to allow each and every one of them to reach their greatest potential through the Masgutova method, or the program they call MNRI. Here they come. Captain Reflex, Mira Cull with Entertainment Nightly. How are you feeling as you head into the theater for tonight's premiere?
Super excited to share the story of how our body's many reflexes integrate into the lifelong reflexes we all rely on. What's really cool about the process is how it happens over time. How these reflexes are scheduled or set to integrate with the brain and the sensory system at important developmental ages or benchmarks, like crawling, for instance. It's so precise. Nature's way of reminding us to work together.
Incredible! Before you arrived, I was just about to explain to our viewers what MNRI means, yet I imagine you're the guy to tell that story.
Sure, allow me. M for Masgutova, the creator of the program. N for Neurosensorimotor, our unique method of integration. R for the reflexes. And I for integration, how we integrate the reflexes with the brain and the sensory motor system. We call it the missing link. Here's my partner in wellness, Brain Power. He can tell you more. I gotta fly.
Ooh.
Pleasure.
Mr. Power, have you met Dr. Masgutova personally?
Sure have. Super grateful to her. She really took the pressure off me by giving me 2 other superheroes to count on. I can only do my best work when I'm supported by the right foundation from Captain Reflex, and when Sensory Star's Neurosensorimotor is aligned as well. Together we make a powerful team when we're all I for integrated.
Fascinating.
Yes, and if you ask me, the best part is how her protocol empowers the parents or caregivers by teaching the techniques to them so they can continue the process at home. In many cases, the kids even take it upon themselves. You'll see. Pay special attention to Little Miss Sydney, one of the real-life superheroes in the movie you're about to see.
I sure will.
Allow me to introduce you to Sensory Star. Sensory, please make the acquaintance of Miss Mira Cull.
Why, hello.
Hello, Miss Star. Tell me about your part in this story.
Oh, yes. It takes place in the land of unlimited human potential. A great place to be. A place where we understand the wisdom contained in commonplace expressions, like it's reflexive, the brains behind it, and stay in touch. Because they, reflexes, Captain, the brain, power, and touch, aka yours truly. We must work together to live an optimum life.
Tell me more.
MNRI's basic principle is to work on the level of the reason for the neurodeficit and dysfunctions, instead of the traditional concept of helping individuals for developmental problems. This is why MNRI has amazing success, with more than 20+ developmental delays, from autism to cerebral palsy to learning disabilities and post-traumatic stress. There aren't many, if any, therapies that have an impact on such a range of conditions, which begins to make you wonder why. But I don't want to give away the ending. You'll learn all of them in the movie.
Speaking of, it appears it's almost time.
far as back as I can remember, I have always been interested in the people around me and how they observed and reacted to the world. I found myself observing my own reactions and comparing them to the reactions of others, all the while wondering why we all reacted to the world around us so differently. I began questioning what mechanism could be responsible for driving these differences. And it was clear it was about our primary reflex integration and executive functions of brain that made us so unique. A reflex is a complex series of reactions of body-mind system in response to external and internal stimuli. Reflexes are not just here arbitrarily, they actually exist in the context of whole picture of development. Since movement and touch impact development, our reflexive responses may be reintegrated, especially when we find the cause itself, not just symptom. To imagine a tree with something affecting a leaf on one of the branches, we must look to the roots of the tree to discover what's going on beneath the surface. Much like the reflexes, if we trace the symptom back to the root reflex and retrain it, we experience vast success in the cognitive and healing process. Therein lies the reason we call them reflex. They can be retrained and integrated. When we integrate them, we see a positive impact on 20 plus conditions, including ADD, ADHD, Alzheimer's, autism spectrum disorder, cerebral palsy, comas, Down syndrome, dyspraxia, dyslexia, dyscalculia, dysgraphia, emotional instability and disorders, genetic disorders, impaired intellectual development, learning disabilities, post-stroke, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, post-traumatic syndrome and stress, and more and more. The best way to truly grasp the depth of what MNRI can do is to let the real-life heroes and superheroes tell you themselves.
Meet Parker.
Parker's 5 years old, and he was diagnosed with cerebral palsy when he was 2.5. And we did 12 months of traditional Western therapy with stretching and AFOs and things like that. And over that 12 months, he progressively got worse. His range of motion decreased, his spasticity increased, and we discovered that, well, this is not working for us. So we took that 12 months of time to research as much as we could about cerebral palsy. What were the various methods of treatment? What else was available out there besides stretching and AFOs? And Dr. Masgutova's work with the reflexes made perfect sense to us with Parker. We already had practitioners that were doing it and introduced us to it, showed us how it worked, explained to us kind of the philosophy behind it and why it worked. And again, it made perfect sense to us as far as the condition that Parker has. Just based on what we've seen in the first couple of days, not only with Parker's changes, but with changes from other kids that we know that are attending the conference, we're very excited about the things that we're going to see, both improvements in coordination and mobility and flexibility and decreases in Parker's spasticity. And we also know that anytime we affect any portion of his system, we get a systemic improvement. So little bits and pieces that change here and there, then a week later will manifest themselves into much better and bigger changes. We have tremendous confidence in everybody that we've met here. It's really been an amazing experience. You can tell that there's a tremendous amount of science behind this, that there are years and years of research that have gone into really narrowing the focus of this method. And it's amazing to see how quickly they're able to attain results. A lot of things are almost immediate. At the beginning of the 50-minute session, they show you how the reflexes are responding, and by the end of the 50 minutes, we have a different response than we started with. So to me, those are pretty immediate results, and if that doesn't give you confidence, I'm not sure what will.
And Sydney.
Sydney was born with a large tumor on her spine, compressing all the nerves to her lower body, paralyzing her. She underwent major back surgery at 9 days old and then chemotherapy afterwards to remove the mass. She was left with no signs of feeling or movement in her legs, and she was basically going to be wheelchair bound. We set out to find the best therapist for her, someone that was going to be motivated and that wasn't going to give up on her. We met Shannon a year and a half ago. Sydney was almost 1, and she couldn't crawl, she couldn't feel her legs, she couldn't bear any weight, and she could barely kick at her knees. She is already doing so much more than the doctors expected, and I truly believe that this therapy has played a huge role in this. It's amazing to see her become aware of parts of her body that she hasn't been able to feel or move, and it is amazing to see them awaken right before our eyes. She now shows signs of some sensation at her feet. She has learned to crawl, stand, and with braces she can now walk. She leaves her walker behind her most of the time, and she loves to run to Daddy.
Ready? Set, go! Go!
And Benji.
My whole family has embraced the method and has seen tremendous changes within my son. He went from being afraid of everything in the world all the time, crying, screaming, to being someone who moves through the world in a calm, cool, collected manner.
And we began noticing changes in our grandson immediately after the first conference, and we've continued. We're now in our 5th conference, and there's been remarkable changes in him. He's now mainstream. He's in 2nd grade. He's doing very well. He's about to go into 3rd grade. He's progressed with physical skills, emotional skills.
MNRI has amazing success with this range of conditions, including those who want to reach for a higher potential, higher quality of life. When capture reflex, brain power, and sensory start get on the same page,
This is my favorite part.
they become 1 and 5 times more powerful. Of course, Parker, Sydney, and Benji, and all of the other real-life heroes reach their full potential every day, thanks to MNRI.
Dr. M makes real kids feel like real heroes in their bodies, minds, hearts, and souls. That's the real miracle.